Okay. Now, was that a big camp as well?
Oh yeah, that was a big camp, and there was British in that too.
Yeah. Now, was it wasn't near the river though, was it?
No.
It was quite a distance from the river.
There was no, I can remember a river because I remember swimming in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember swimming in the river.
Yes.
Because I can remember those little fish used to bite you, little tiny fish.
Yes.
You'd swim in the river with nothing on and they'd bite you in bad places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vulnerable.
Yeah.
So TAM 1, did you have any contact with any Australian doctors in that camp?
I must have, but I can't remember.
No. You did you have contact with Arthur Moon?
Yeah, well, Arthur Moon I think might have been in that camp.
Yes.
Because I remember him seeing him once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Arthur Moon.
So you went up to Thailand with D Force, didn't you?
Yeah, S Battalion I think it was.
Oh, right. So do you remember Jim Findlay?
Yeah,
Jimmy Findlay,
yeah.
who died up there?
But the colonel in charge was, when we went up, was McHugh.
Yeah, M-C-E-A-C-H-E-R-N.
Yeah, he was the
4th Anti-Tank.
Yeah, he was in charge of our...
Were you able to form an opinion about whether he was a good officer or not?
He seemed alright from what I saw of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in TAM 1. Your health, what was it like?
It wasn't bad. Yeah, it was compared with a lot of the others. I had a lot of skin diseases. That's where I had more trouble than any of the other guys. I had a lot of tinea and stuff. And very bad skin trouble, but otherwise dysentery had seemed to have gone, and I'd never got beriberi.
And were you working while you were in that camp?
Only maintenance around the camp. I remember one day the Capts had us planting a huge coconut tree. They dug it up and they had about 50 to, or might have been more men, lifting this thing up on our shoulders and carrying it along and planting it at one either side of the entrance to the camp. Whether the bloody thing ever took root again, I don't know.
Actually, I mean, as we looked at some photos of TAM 1, it looked like quite a well laid out camp.
It was a lot better than all the other camps, and we kept it clean as we could, and it was just maintenance jobs like that around the camp. And then that's where they start to form the parties to go to Japan.
Yes.
I can remember getting all lined up one day and these Jap officers coming around and looking at your legs, and it was like picking out horses that were still fit.
Yes.
And you and you and you and you going to Japan, and others, you know, weren't. So it was just your luck of the draw.
Did you get? Were you glass rodded there? Were you glass rodded there?
Yes. Yes.
Was that the first time that had happened to you, or
no? I had it in Singapore before we went up.
Yes.
And we had another time when it was a glass rod. It was a piece of bamboo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we glass rodded before we went to Japan.
And when was this? The occasion when this bamboo was used instead of the glass rod?
I think that was up on the railway line somewhere.
Was that?
Yeah, I can't remember what camp.
How horrid.
Yeah, it was not very nice.
Okay, so you knew that you were selected for the Japan party. Did you have some of your mates that were also going?
Yeah.
Do you recall who they were?
Oh yeah, Reg Pascal, Trevor James, and Des Colivus, and there was about 30 or 40 second, fourth. That was in about June
of what, 44?
44.
Yeah.
Around
Okay.
about June,
So you'd been up there quite a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How did you move from Taiwan to Singapore?
By the cattle trucks again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as bad. I can remember when we pulled up in KL station, the poor unfortunate people, the population there streamed out and were trying to beg food off us. They were starving themselves. And yeah, we ended up in River Valley Camp, which I'd been in before. I went up the railway line, I'd been in the camp, and it was an entirely different kettle of fish this time.
This is a question out of left field, but were you ever aware of any Masonic activities in?
Oh yeah, I knew some of the guys that belonged to the.
Yeah.
But
Do you remember who they were?
Well, Dick Ridgewell was, I think. Dick Ridgewell was a Mason.
Yeah. Okay, so you're back in River Valley Road. Is Phil Millard still with you?
Who?
Phil Millard, is he still with you?
No.
So when you went up, you've had contact with only Phil as a doctor when you're up there?
Yeah.
Do you have any contact with any Indian doctors?
No.
No? No British doctors?
No.
Were there any medical orderlies that you thought stood out?
Oh.
Any guys that
Yeah, I
helped?
can't remember their names, but there was good medal.
Yeah. Okay, so you've chosen to go to
Japan.
And about what date did you?
So on the Byuoki Maru or the Ration Maru on the July the 4th.
1944.
1944.
Okay, so do you remember the doctors on that ship?
Well, Millard, Hinder must have been on it, but I didn't know of him then.
Yeah, there were a number.
Yeah.
And who was the senior Australian officer?
Well, Newton, Roaring Reg Newton.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I suppose, is there anything you'd like to tell us about this 70-day journey to Japan?
Well,
how did you survive it? What enabled you to survive it?
Well, I don't know. Just a lot of luck, I suppose. But from Singapore to Manila, I suppose it wasn't that bad. Well, it was bad enough, but it wasn't as bad as what was from then on. But it was pretty peaceful. I remember being up on deck one day, and a Japanese destroyer was alongside, and I was leaning over watching all these sailors bustling around, and a Jap came up behind me and he whacked me across the head because I was, I don't know what he thought I was going to do about it, but he didn't like me looking to see what was happening. And then when we got to Manila, we were bottled up in that harbour for 2 weeks. We passed Corregidor. We could see, what that had been like, bombed and shelled and everything. We were in this thing of the harbour in the Philippines for about